Hi, I'm Alma. Electricity is becoming a timing game, not only how much you use, but when you use it. And batteries are one of the biggest reasons this game is changing. Today I'll explain it in human language, no nerd talk. And I'll give you a simple plan to benefit from it even if you don't own a home battery. Here's the simple truth behind why your electricity bill can vary so much. The power grid has one job: balance supply and demand in real time. Every second, it's matching how much electricity is being generated with how much is being used. When demand is high, typically evenings when everyone comes home and starts cooking, heating, charging, and watching TV at the same time, and supply is tighter, prices go up. This is when the grid is most stressed. When supply is abundant, often sunny midday hours, when solar generation is at its peak and most people are at work or school, prices can actually drop quite significantly. Sometimes they even go negative in some markets. So the exact same kilowatt hour of electricity can cost very different amounts depending purely on the time of day you use it. That's the timing game. And here's why it matters more over the coming years. More homes are switching to electric heating. More vehicles are being charged at home. All of that adds to demand, especially in the evenings when everyone's home. The difference between peak and off-peak is growing. Timing becomes more important, not less. Understanding this now gives you a real advantage. Now, if you're renting and you just thought, "This sounds like it's for homeowners with solar panels and home batteries," I want to stop that. The timing game is available to everyone. You don't need to own the grid. You don't need to own your home. You don't even need to own a battery. The three most powerful moves in this video cost nothing. They're shifts in when you do things you're already doing. Small timing shifts. Real savings. No installation required. Let's get into it. If you've ever looked at your electricity bill and thought, "Why does it cost so much when I'm just home in the evening, doing normal things?" This is why. Evening is when demand peaks. Millions of households drawing power at the same time, cooking, heating, charging. The grid feels that pressure, and peaks are expensive. But here's the reframe that makes this actionable. The goal isn't to become perfect. It's not to give up your evenings or eat cold food. The goal is simply to reduce how many expensive kilowatt hours you're buying. Even small shifts make a real difference. You're not fighting your whole bill. You're targeting the most expensive parts. That's a much smaller, more winnable target. And it's available to you whether you own your home or not. Now let's talk about what batteries actually do in this story. At the grid level, batteries act like a shock absorber. When electricity is abundant midday, batteries store the surplus. When it's scarce at peak, they release it. That smooths the spikes, reduces stress on the grid, and can reduce extreme price surges for everyone. This is why utilities are building large-scale storage rapidly. It's not futuristic. It's happening now. At the home level, the same logic applies. A home battery, or even a portable power station, can charge off-peak and discharge when it's expensive. It's a mini version of what the grid batteries do, shifting consumption from expensive hours to cheap ones. But here's the most important thing. You don't need to own a battery to win. You can win with habits. The battery's superpower is timing, and you can do a version of that with behavior alone. Charge your devices during cheaper hours. Run heavy loads off-peak. Avoid stacking demand in the evening. That's the battery strategy, without the battery, and it's available to everyone. Small habits, big impact. Here are 3 renter-friendly habit shifts that let you play the timing game without owning anything special. Shift 1. Charge small devices earlier in the day. Phones, laptops, tablets, all of these charge during evening peak hours by default. Move them earlier. Charge your phone during lunch. Plug in your laptop before dinner instead of after. It quietly reduces your evening load, and that adds up across every device, every day, every month. Shift 2. Move flexible tasks off-peak. Laundry, the dishwasher, prep cooking, any task with flexibility and timing. If your schedule allows, Shift them earlier in the day or later at night after the peak window closes. Even shifting these tasks a few times per week consistently compounds into real savings over a month. It's about choosing the cheap hours. Shift 3. Don't stack heavy loads in the evening. Avoid running multiple high-draw appliances at the exact same time. Sequence them. Cook first, then laundry after. Boil water, then use the oven. Same tasks, different order, lower cost. Pick the one shift that fits your life most naturally. Do that one consistently and let it compound. That's how habits actually work, and that's how the timing game gets won. It's about small, sustainable moves. If you do own a portable power station, or you're considering getting one, here's how it fits into the timing strategy. The idea is simple. Charge the power station when electricity is cheaper. Then use it during evening peak for small, steady loads. A desk lamp, phone charging, a laptop. You're covering the small evening loads that would otherwise come from the most expensive part of the grid. That's the timing game, automated, charge cheap, use when it's expensive, repeat. Storage amplifies your strategy. But I want to be clear, if you don't own one, habit shifts still work. The biggest lever is always behavior first. Storage amplifies it. It doesn't replace it. Let me make the timing game feel real with a quick everyday example. Imagine you charge your phone, your laptop, and maybe a tablet or earbuds most evenings between 6 and 9 p.m., right when people get home, turn on lights, start cooking, and the grid gets busy. Let's keep it simple. Say that's about half a kilowatt hour of electricity during that peak window. Now, in a lot of places across the U.S., utilities are moving toward time-of-use pricing, which basically means electricity isn't one flat price all day long. The same half kilowatt hour can cost noticeably more in the evening than it does earlier in the day. So that half kilowatt hour might cost you around 30 cents if it happens midday, and 50 cents or more if it happens during peak hours. That's a 20-cent difference per day. Not dramatic, right? But here's the part people miss. 20 cents per day is about $6 per month. And over a year, that's roughly $70 to $75. And that's just from small devices, just from timing. That doesn't even include the bigger flexible loads, like running the dishwasher, doing laundry, or charging an e-bike. And no, I'm not saying you need to obsess over every watt. The point is, if you shift even a portion of your flexible usage away from the evening peak, the savings start to stack, quietly, automatically, month after month. And the best part? The behavior change doesn't cost you anything. No installation, no fancy equipment, just a small timing decision. That's the timing game in real numbers. Small, consistent shifts. Real money over time. Before we wrap up, 3 quick mistakes that trip people up when they first start playing the timing game. Mistake 1, trying to shift everything at once. Don't do that. Pick one habit. Do it consistently for 2 weeks, then add another. Trying to change everything overnight creates friction, and friction kills consistency. Mistake 2, doing it for a few days and then forgetting. The timing game only pays off if it becomes a habit, not a special project. The easiest way to make it stick is to attach it to something you already do. For example, I charge my devices when I make coffee in the morning. That's more durable than I'll remember to charge before peak hours. Because you won't remember. Nobody does, not consistently. Mistake 3, expecting a dramatic drop on the very first bill. The savings are real, but they compound gradually. 1 month shows a small improvement. 3 months shows a meaningful one. 6 months in, it's just running quietly in the background. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be consistent. That's the whole thing. Here's something worth sitting with for a moment. Everything we've talked about in this series, timing, phantom load, peak hours, it all connects to something bigger. Batteries are changing the grid, not just in a technical sense, in a personal sense. For most of the last 100 years, electricity worked one way. The grid produced it, and you consumed it. You had no real say in timing, no visibility into cost. You were basically a passive receiver. That's changing. With battery storage, even a small portable one, you can charge when power is cheaper or cleaner, and then use that stored energy when it's more expensive or when the grid is under stress. You can smooth your own consumption. You can respond to price signals. You can, in a small but real way, participate in how the grid operates. That's not a small shift. For the first time, regular households have tools that used to belong only to utilities: storage, flexibility, and control. You're not just a passive consumer anymore, you're a participant, and that changes everything. One last thought, and this one is about what's coming next. The direction is clear: flexibility pays. Energy systems across the U.S. are being designed to reward people who use electricity at the right times and discourage everyone piling on during the same evening peak. Time of use pricing is expanding, smart incentives are growing, and home energy management is becoming more accessible, not less. So the people who understand the timing game today are building a habit that will serve them for years. Not just on this month's bill, but as the energy landscape shifts around them. Learning this now isn't just a money-saving tip, it's an investment in being ready, whatever comes next. So here's the timing game in 3 moves. Charge small devices earlier in the day, move flexible tasks away from the evening peak, and sequence heavy loads, one at a time. No installation, no special gear required, just awareness of when you use electricity and a few small, deliberate shifts. And if you've been watching this series, I want to say something directly. Thank you for staying with it. Most people stop at turn off the lights. You went further. You now understand phantom load, peak hours, battery storage, grid pricing, and timing strategies that most households have never even heard of. And that knowledge compounds. Every month you apply it, it becomes more automatic. Every year the energy landscape shifts, you'll be more prepared than the people around you. If I've sparked your interest, start with our free guide. Sign up with your name and email address, and you'll get immediate access to our free guide. And you'll also start receiving our newsletter with practical tips and updates. And one more helpful thing. At the bottom of most pages in that free guide, you'll find a link to all of our guides, including the guide I covered in this video. We'll be adding more and more guides to our library soon. This video and this channel are for anyone interested in using energy smarter. If there's a topic you want me to cover, let me know in the comments. I try to read every comment. Subscribe to this channel and like this video. That helps me create more content here. See you in the next one.